Today, I want to talk about the number one thing that fuels a narcissist's behavior, and that is jealous and enviousness. A narcissist is innately jealous. They can't help themselves. They are jealous of anything that they see good within someone else. They know that their behavior and who they are is not good. They're evil. They're dirty. They're manipulators, and they love to hurt others. And they know that there's nothing wrong with their intellect, so they know what they are doing. So when they see someone else who is intentionally trying to be good, and someone who is empathetic, and someone who cares about others, um, they get very intimidated, very jealous, very envious, and they try to tear down that person. Um, this is how the empath and the narcissist dynamics starts. It starts at the root, which is the narcissist is always jealous of the empath. Um, I come from a narcissistic family, and my mom was a narcissist, God rest her soul, and I had a sibling that was a sociopathic narcissist. And that sibling was so jealous of me. Um, she was jealous of me from the time I was born. I would hear stories. My family would tell me stories of the things she would do to me as a child, as a baby, things that I don't remember, but I know occurred. One thing that happened was she pushed me out of my stroller when I was a baby. And as a result, my lip was bust. My inner lip, um, my teeth went down into my inner lip and inside my lip, and I have stitches. So I actually have the scar still within the inside of my lip, bottom lip, and so I have proof that this person was envious of me and would do anything to hurt me. I also hear stories about how she bit me in my crib as a baby because she was jealous because I was the new baby, and I was getting a lot of attention. Of course, I don't remember those things, but later on in life, there were oodles and oodles of experiences that I had where I know this person was very jealous and envious of me. Um, they watch you and they prey on you. Um, my narcissistic sibling would often say things to me like, oh, when she saw me progressing in life, she would say things like, oh, I gotta watch you. I gotta make sure I watch you. So they study their prey. She did not want me to outshine her. She did not want me to get credit for my hard work. For other people to notice that I had acquired something or that I was doing well in life. She would get extremely jealous and envious, and she would do whatever it took um, to keep me from shining and for having any type of happiness. I do remember when I was a kid, she would literally take the candy from the baby. I remember when I was a kid, I used to love a candy called Now Laters. And I remember when I would get them, I would just, they were like a flavored taffy, and they were chewy. And I would just like, get my little pack of Now Laters and go into, this state of this meditation, like, this is so good. And I can remember her looking at me with this evil, demonic look, and she would actually walk up to me and snatch them out of my hand and say, "Give me some." And she would do it she was so mean that my reaction was, "No, I'm not giving you anything, you know." And, basically I was a kid, but I wanted to say, you need to ask first. You just don't take it. And she would take my candy and then beat me up because I didn't want to give it to her, because she was so mean. And one of the when I was a teenager, one of the most disturbing things that I experienced when I was 16 years old, I had a cousin who was getting married. My first cousin was getting married, and it was like the wedding of the year for us, for our family. The wedding was going to be in a backyard wedding, in someone's backyard, and everyone was talking about it. I had family coming from out of town, and I was 16. Because I lived in a narcissistic family, I didn't have any rites of passage. I didn't have any sweet 16 parties or anything like that. So this wedding was going to be my coming out, so to speak, as a teenager and growing up. And I had this fantasy that I would go to this wedding no longer as a kid, but as a young woman, and my family would see me and they would say, how give me praises about how well I was growing up and how well I was doing. And so what happened was, we were poor. We didn't have any money. So for months, I would say probably about 4 or 5 months, I worked on how I wanted to look and feel at this wedding. I wanted my family to notice me. And I also had a crush on a male cousin's best friend. And this guy was fine. He was a smoker. He was hot. And he was older than I was. He was like 20 and I was 16. But he was so good looking. He was a sweet guy. He was a nice guy too. And I wanted to go to this wedding, and I knew he was going to be there because this is the male cousin. His sister was the one getting married, so I knew that the male cousin's best friend, who I had a crush on, was going to be at this wedding. So it was very important to me that I look good. So I planned what I was going to wear. I planned my hairstyle. I practiced my makeup for months. And I was going to wear heels for the first time to a family event. And I remember there was a store, a discount ladies store. It was kind of trendy. It was called Mary Ann's. And I was overweight, so I had to go to the Mary Ann Plus store. And I was so excited because I would go after school. Back then, you could go after school. You could be on your own. It's not like it is now where you got to know where your kids are at all times. But there was a Mary Ann's not too far from my high school. And I would walk to the Mary Ann's, and this is for months. And I would look for outfits that I could wear to this wedding. And then I would go in a store called Winkleman's in Michigan, and they had a wonderful shoes section. And I would try on heels. And I'm like, okay, I had no money, but I was planning this outfit. And where there's a will, there's a way. I was going to get what I wanted for this wedding. I had another cousin who was a hairdresser, and she would do what they call kitchen sink hairdos. She did everybody's hair for the neighborhood, for everyone. She was pretty good. And I said, I'm going to get her to lay my hair. And I was practicing my makeup, and I was looking for my outfit and my shoes, and I had it all planned out how I was going to look for this wedding. This predator, this jealous sibling, was watching me the whole time. Um, I can remember being in the mirror, putting on makeup, and seeing her reflection behind me in the mirror. And she would be looking at me with such evilness. I could feel it, I could see it. But I was so focused on, there wasn't much happiness in my life, in my home. I was overweight. I was in a narcissistic family. I would go to school and be teased. So I was so focused on this event being a pleasurable, something that I could have that was pleasurable, something I can have. I could finally get some attention. I could get this cute boy's, young man's attention. Um, I was so focused on that, I just ignored the fact that she had been preying on me and stalking me. Um, she was strategizing. And she was so envious that I could feel it. When I look back, I could still feel how envious she was of me. And she was strategizing. She was planning to tear me down, um, to tear me down, and to keep me from being happy and acquiring any happiness. Um, Fast forward to a few days, like a day before the wedding, a couple of days before the wedding, I did find a dress at Marianne Plus, and the dress that year was in the 80s, the late 80s, and the color that year was yellow and hot pink or fuchsia. Everybody was buying shoes and outfits that were in these colors. So I found a dress, and the dress was hot pink. And no, the dress was yellow. And it was on the clearance rack at Marianne Plus. Then I went to a shoe store called Baker's, and I found some hot pink shoes with a yellow flower on them. I can still see the shoes. I would still wear them today. They were so cute to me. And I saw the shoes, and I said, oh, this will go perfect with the dress. I had the whole outfit picked out. Now, we didn't have money. My mother could care less. She was a narcissist. Everything was about her. She could care less about my happiness. Everything was about her. It was one-sided. So I had to, growing up in a narcissistic family, you acquire narcissistic traits in order to survive. Um, and so I was manipulative in order to get what I want. So I've had to figure out a way to manipulate my mother to, for once, make it about me in order to get this outfit. And so I don't know what I did to her. I catered to her ego in some kind of way, and kissed her behind in some kind of way. And she agreed to go to a mall here in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, called Northland. So she took me to Northland, to Marianne Plus, and I convinced her that the dress wasn't that much and the shoes wasn't that much. Would she please pay and buy this for me? She did. And I was so excited. I got home. I laid my stuff out on the bed. I had went to a cheap jewelry store. I can't think of the name of the jewelry store, but and bought some little cheap $5 jewelry, costume jewelry, and I was color coordinated yellow and hot pink. And I tried it on 1,000 times. I looked in the mirror. I did a dry run, a dress rehearsal. I put on my makeup that I had been practicing for months. And then I called my cousin, who was the bootleg hairdresser, and I said, hey, we didn't pay her. I said, hey, you need to do my hair. She said, okay, come over. And a few days before the wedding, I had my mother drive me over there. She laid my hair. She feathered it out and curled it. It was pretty. And then this narcissistic sister was watching all of this. right? And she's rageful. She's rageful. Now, mind you, she's doing nothing to prepare herself for the wedding. Her supply, what was going to make her the most happy, what was going to bring her so much gratification, was the fact that she was plotting to tear all this down. I the wedding came. It was the day before the wedding, and this sibling is 7 years older than I am, so she was in her early 20s. I was 16. She was in her early 20s, and my mother and I were actually on welfare. My father paid child support, but he paid it to the state. The child support was not enough for us to live on, so we had to be on welfare, and in order to kind of subsidize the child support. And so our income was very, very, very limited, and we were poor. So my mother, when she got the check, she had bought me an outfit. How I got my mother to buy the outfit was I convinced her, by her being the aunt of the bride, that she needed a nice outfit, and that's what lured her to the mall. And we got her, my mother got the outfit that she wanted. She felt good. Now I can, you know, get the crumbs and ask her, hey, can you buy me an outfit? So she did. And so um everything was in plan. Everything that I had been planning for months was coming together. I was so excited. I didn't know what to do. Everybody's going to see me as a young woman. I was going to be beautiful. I was going to attract this guy, my cousin's best friend, and I was going to have some happiness finally. And the day before the wedding, the narcissistic sibling goes to my mother, and she says that demands that my mother, again, she's in her early 20s, don't want to work. They're lazy as fuck, okay? And she doesn't want to work towards looking well for the wedding or preparing for the wedding. They take. They take the candy from the baby. That's what they do when they're envious. They're going to make sure they keep you from being happy. And so what she did was she went to my mother, and she had no money, and she forced my mother. I could still hear them in my head arguing about fighting because she wanted my mother to give her money for this dress, for her to go to the mall and get something. The sociopath and narcissist sister won. My mother gave her her last money, money that we needed for food or whatever, household, and to this grown adult sibling. And she goes to the mall and she buys almost the exact same dress. My dress was yellow, except hers was hot pink fuchsia. It was the day before the wedding. She did not find the shoes or anything. But she comes home and she's bragging like she had no idea that I had the same dress. Oh, look what I bought. She laid her stuff out on the bed. She was preparing exactly. They mock you and they mirror you. And the mock is to say a lot of different things when they copy you. It's really the number one thing is to say you're not so much. That if you're going to get praise, I'm going to get praise. Because they also love to be in competition with you. So she laid everything out on the bed, and I hear, my other sister and my mother, they're looking at her stuff going, hey, that's like, your sister's dress, but that's nice, and they're giving her praises too. So I go and I look, and I'm devastated, right? Because we got to go to this wedding looking like twins. And I really, I knew it was sick. It was sick. Um, it was her way of keeping me and depriving me of what I had worked for, the enjoyment and the payoff of what I had worked for and preparing for this wedding. It was keeping me from having attention because if she has on the same dress, other people are going to compliment her as well. It was keeping for me from acquiring and having any type of joy. And that's what a narcissist do. They will take their venom and try to kill you with it emotionally, um, mentally. They're going to keep you. And it's so sick. It's so insidious. When we get to the, so I burst out in tears. How could you, why would you do this to me? And she everybody looking at me crazy, like what? She bought a dress. But I knew she had been preying on me for months. She had been strategizing for months. And this was her way of keeping me from getting to enjoying the attention of my family. This was her way of blocking my happiness. And everybody thought I was crazy. I was 16, so I just had a fit. And I didn't know what gray rock was or anything like that. I had a fit. And I said, I'm not going to this wedding. I'm not going dressed like this psychopath. And everybody was just like, okay, you ain't going to the wedding. They ain't give a damn. They all narcissists. And no one comforted me. No one saw what she had done. No one gave a damn. So I remember all that night just sobbing in my room like, this is some sick shit, okay? And the next morning, the wedding was early. And so everyone was running around hustling, trying to get ready for the wedding. We're African American, we're black. We didn't, we usually late to everything. So it was just crazy. And I thought about the months that I had prepared for this wedding, all I had done. And I said, I can't not go. You know what I'm saying? What? I can't. What? I have to go. I've been looking forward to this, and this is the only thing that I had to look forward to for months. And so I got up, I got dressed at the last minute. We had an old station wagon, and so I was the youngest, so I had to sit in the back of the station wagon where the hatchback lift up. It had a hatchback and it had a small like two seats back there. And then they had a middle section where three people could sit, and then they had a front seat where three other people could sit. So we had people from out of town, and it was, a lot of us in the car. I was the youngest, so I had to sit in the trunk hatchback section of the station wagon. And the sociopathic narcissist sister was sitting in the middle section of the car. And so when we pulled up to the house, it was a backyard wedding, we pulled up to the house, and I remember the sociopathic, before the car could even stop, the sibling jumps out the car and runs. It was a lot of people in front of the house. And, they was pulling up and everybody was excited to see each other. And everybody's kind of congregating in front of the house before they went to the backyard where the wedding took place. And so it was a lot of people, a lot of family, friends that we hadn't seen in a long time that was out in front of the house. So we pulled up to the house. The car hardly barely even stopped before this narcissistic sibling sister jumped out of the car and she started greeting everyone. And the reason she did that was because she wanted everybody to see her in the outfit, and she wanted people to see me last because I was in this the trunk part of the car, the hatch part of the station wagon. Um, Someone had to let me out. But if you was in the middle, you could just open the door and jump out. So she was able to get out of the car faster than I was, so everyone could see her, and that would take my thunder. That would take my attention away from me. So when everyone saw her first, they said, "Oh, you look nice, beautiful, hot pink dress." When I got out the car, everybody told me, "You got on the same dress as Kim." So, as my sister. So I said her name. I didn't mean to say her name. And I'm like, what? She copied off of me. So it was just the grade, the value, and she was getting supply, because she knew what she was doing was tearing me up. I was reacting, so she knew that what she was doing was hurting me. And again, nobody cares because we just finding out really about the dynamics of narcissism. So no one was going, dang, this is a narcissistic situation. Let me protect this 16-year-old girl young woman from this crazy sibling. Nobody. They didn't know. They didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? So they just knew that I was upset. I was hurt. I end up not really having a good time. Nobody cared how I look. People were saying, "Hey, you and your sister get together, take a picture since y'all got on the same dress." I didn't have that spotlight that I wanted. I didn't have the attention that I was craving, that I thought I was going to get. And she was happy. She was basking in the fact that she was able to devalue me, discredit me, and hurt me, and take away what I had worked for, deprive me from what I had worked for. A video that helped me a lot about the enviousness, about envy and jealousy, is by Creflo Dollar. He had done a sermon about envy and jealousy. I would really encourage you to Google it or to go on YouTube and look up the video. It changed my life because it really made me understand what envy and jealousy is about, and it definitely applies to an envious and narcissistic, sociopathic family member, friend, whoever. I mean, it just really opened my eyes as to why and how people operate when they're jealous and they're envious. So I would highly recommend that you look that up. That's it for this video. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.